Hi YouTubers, hi subscribers. The 18th of July 2020 saw a trans rights protest in Southampton Guildhall Square held in conjunction with the Art House and People's Pride. There were a number of speeches held, and this vlog and part 2 of this vlog are just a taster of a couple of those speeches held at the event. I tried to get some more speeches in, but because of sound problems on my phone, because I don't have a big microphone, I was using the microphone on the phone, it became rather difficult. And where the Guildhall is, there's a skateboarding area at the back, and I was worried that the speeches were being drowned out by the skateboards. So I've only got a couple of speeches. I hope you don't mind, and I hope you can hear them clearly. Check me on the other side and enjoy. Turn the volume up if you need to, okay?
Having our speeches, I will start my speech and then we'll go on from there, because I believe we have managed to get all of the bookkeeping out of the way. Oh yeah, if you're due to speak, your speeches, if you haven't picked them up already, are in this pile that keeps on getting blown away by the wind. So please come and collect them before they all blow away. Thank you. Let's begin. If you're here, you will presumably be aware of the government's plans, but in case you aren't, I will enlighten you. Where they previously promised reform of the Gender Recognition Act, and despite the fact that 70% of people answered their consultation in favour of the reform, they have decided to ignore that, and instead decided to do 4 things. One is to ban conversion therapy for sexuality, which we can all welcome. The other 3 are the vicious promises of a thoughtless office to protect single-sex spaces from us, as though we were some kind of vampires unable to cross the threshold, rather than real people who might actually be affected by this. Some unspecified attack on transgender health services, and a vow to protect children from decisions they might regret. 2 weeks ago, I stood in Parliament Square, sounding the death knell for any possibility that the government's current plans had any scientific basis. I cited my evidence, I gave the truth. My name is Triana Sanjana, I have a Facebook page, you can find the video and the details there. If anyone remains convinced, despite all facts, that the government is in the right, that cannot be called my fault. Since I know that the chance of anyone actually watching my previous speech is trivial, here are the highlights. A study showed that the benefits of sex-segregated spaces are non-existent. The hate group who invented the idea of transgender sexual predators in public bathrooms admitted that their own claims were concocted. It's been shown that puberty blockers are reversible, although puberty itself is not. Denying puberty blockers prolongs dysphoria, provokes abuse, causes self-harm and suicide, and is not a neutral option for adolescents. And once you reach adulthood, hormone therapy and sexual surgery are medically necessary. Attempting to change trans people's gender conversion therapy style has always been a dangerous failure. The fact that waiting lists are taking multiple years for one appointment is not just unethical, but actually illegal. And there are 71 paragraphs worth of recommendations sitting on the government's desk that have been there for years in a 2015 report, which also lambasted the 2011 Plan for Action as all plan and no action because nothing resulted from it. These quotations and conclusions are drawn from the government's own reports and from a set of standards that cite over twice as many sources as they have pages. This is not a matter of genuine scientific dispute. The government must therefore respect the result of the consultation, reform the Gender Recognition Act, make all trans people's access to medical care, including for trans children, easier rather than harder, ban all conversion therapy and not just some of it, and scrap their proposed changes to single-sex spaces. I would like to remind us all of our government's promises. They helpfully provided 5 key promises in a document entitled Trans People in the UK, a document that was given out by the Government Equalities Office in respect of the consultation. It's still available, by the way. I haven't taken it down, even though it's all lies. Let's go over their 5 promises. Promise 1, there will be no change to the provision of women-only spaces and services. The government now does intend to change the provision of these spaces. Promise 2, there will be no change to the NHS medical pathways for trans people. The government is now planning an ill-defined and ill-thought-out attack on several services for trans people. Promise 3, children are not put at risk. Notwithstanding the strange use of the present tense there, in what universe is provoking abuse, dysphoria, self-harm and suicide not putting people at risk? Fourth promise, all views will be heard in the consultation. I think that ignoring 70% of those views speaks frankly for itself, and it says nothing good. All of this gives the lie, the absurd, abhorrent lie behind Promise 5. We are committed to making the lives of trans people easier. Or are you? Are you really? Because I've seen nothing of the sort. The government is almost literally doing the exact opposite of what they have claimed. They are going out of their way to break every single promise they made. 3 of the promises they made were completely unrelated to the GRA, promises that they wouldn't go off on a tangent and take away our rights elsewhere. And they've managed to break every single one of their promises. Either the government has deliberately gone out of their way to break every promise they made, or they are guilty of willful negligence of such epic proportions that it defies probability. Irrespective, the Government Equalities Office has forsworn their promises and forsaken their duty. I would like to clarify next the facts about the movement that calls itself gender critical but should rightly be called transphobic. But the movement doesn't even support cisgender women either. One ex-member made headlines recently when she said that the group's leaders downplayed the issues of lesbians, saying that the abuse that she had suffered at the hands of a partner wasn't as bad as with men. She said they kept her constantly triggered. She said that the group promoted the idea that lesbianism was just a choice, an idea which she described as an anti-lesbian ideology. And they tried to keep her hooked in the movement by promising to find her a wife as though a woman were a commodity. She was harassed and abused when she was in the movement and hounded and attacked for daring to leave it. She describes the movement in no uncertain terms as a cult and says that they wanted her to be unstable so they could control her. If you think that this is a movement that cares about women's rights, you are under a very grave misapprehension. But this is who Liz Truss has sided with, it seems. Next, I would like to I would like to have avoided mentioning, but it had to happen at some point, J.K. Rowling. A woman who loves being a woman so much that she wrote early works under a male pseudonym, who supports sexual minorities so much that she used the name of a conversion therapist as her pseudonym, and is so definitely not transphobic that under that pseudonym she wrote a book in which the main protagonist revels in the abuse that he knows a trans woman is likely to suffer in prison. She should not be seriously consulted on trans issues.
Hi, welcome to The Other Side. That was one of the speeches held at the rally, the trans rights protest in Southampton Guildhall on the 18th of July 2020. Part 2 of this one will come up shortly, and look out for it. It's another speech by another one of the people associated with People's Pride in the Art House. Hopefully you can hear their introduction of who they are, because I missed the introductions of who they were. And as I say, I had to stop filming at some point because I think the sound was being drowned out. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to watching the other one, which is coming up rather shortly. See you later. Bye. Oh, please like, share and subscribe. It's very important and it helps the algorithm. Thanks very much, YouTubers.